quickly settle in. And once again, let us recollect our thoughts, recollect the kindness of the triple jewels, and with a full gratitude in heart, let us place our palms together to request Geshe to give teaching according to the well wishes and capacities of the students. Geshe, kindly give us the teaching.
Page 4. Page 4. I go for refuge and am enlightened to the Buddha, the Dhamma, the Sangha. By my accumulations of the practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge and am enlightened to the Buddha, the Dhamma, the Sangha. By my accumulations of the practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge and am enlightened to the Buddha, the Dhamma, the Sangha. By my accumulations of the practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. Sanye choda soge chonamda chanjo pardo dane gyapso nage jinso gebe sonamke tola benjir sanye dubara isho sanye choda soge chonamda chanjo pardo dane gyapso che tage jinso gebe sonamke Dola penjere sanje drubara esho sanje choda sorge chonamla chanjo bando dane gyapso che tage jinso kebe sonamge dola penjere sanje drubara esho Om ye dharma to prabhava hetum tesham datagat yavatat tesham chayo nirodha evam vati mahashramanaye swaha Om Yen Hetu Prabhava Hetum Desham Dathagato Yavatat Desham Chayo Nirodha Evam Vati Mahashramanaye Swaha Om Ye Dharma Hetu Prabhava Hetum Tesham Dathagato Yavatat Tesham Chayo Nirodha Evam Vati Mahashramanaye Swaha All phenomena arise from causes. The causes are taught by the Tathagata. The decision cause as well is taught by the great sphere. Okay. This morning we talked about the need for us to understand emptiness as a remedy to overcome the voice, as a remedy to overcome the mental defilements. This is what we have learned. And so for this, what we need to understand is that the true nature of mind is so precious. The true nature of mind in the context of the Buddha nature. And the Buddha nature, given that this is more a specialized class, Buddha nature is to be understood in two contexts, in two forms. One is known as natural Buddha nature, or the Rangshineric in Tibetan, and the other one is proliferating Buddha nature, or Yegyurek, natural Buddha nature, and the proliferating Buddha nature. And anyone who likes to quickly share with us what is natural Buddha nature? Anyone? What is natural Buddha nature in Tibetan Rangshineric? Anyone? Or if it is easier for us to first go for the proliferating Buddha nature. Anyone? Anyone? Proliferating Buddha nature. Yes, so now, here.
Geshe, proliferating Buddha nature is the nature of sentient being which goes towards natural Buddha nature. And the natural Buddha nature is the emptiness of the proliferating Buddha nature.
Okay, this is very good. If somebody can add a little more. Anyone? What is it? But first, if one understands proliferating Buddha nature well, then we can explain the natural Buddha nature. Anyone quick? What is proliferating Buddha nature? Okay, Ben. Yeah.
I think proliferating Buddha nature is the potential of the mind to be freed from the mental defilements.
Anyone else? Okay, over there in Shambhala.
Geshe, so proliferating Buddha nature is the mind of a sentient being, which the continuum of which will later become the Buddha's mind. And the natural Buddha nature is that the proliferating Buddha nature being empty of inherent existence.
Thank you. That is in a very complete form. Thank you. So first, let us keep in mind. Let us keep in mind that our mind has the capacity to become Buddha's mind. Don't forget it. So when you say that, may I become Buddha for the benefit of all sentient beings, our mind should have that capacity. And we learned about the metaphor that I give is the dirty water. So for NMC 1 and 2 and NDC 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and no need to go too much into detail. Dirty water, however polluted the water is, you remove the dirt through purification process, for example, like reverse osmosis, ultrafiltration, then the pure water manifests. So this pure water comes from where? So we see that it is there within this dirty water. How many agree with me? Raise hands. Okay, to agree is easy. Okay, thank you. So so our mind is like that dirty water. However dirty your mind is, it is a capacity. If the stains are removed, then the purity manifests. The true nature of the mind manifests. This is reality. So from this, we see that our mind, within the mind, we can classify into two groups. Mind, which you cultivate it grows, as Shambhala said, it grows more and more, and eventually if it'll move towards full awakening, enlightened, omniscient mind. Whereas, for example, like self-grasping ignorance, self-centered attitude, these thoughts, they will go further away from omniscience. You're getting it? So therefore, those minds, if we cultivate, they grow closer towards enlightenment or the Buddhahood or the omniscient mind. Let me repeat it. Those minds within us, those minds. So in a very in the non-technical sense, a mind, the true nature of mind is such that if the stains are removed, then the purity manifests. This is the main concept we need to remember. Now, when you go into proliferating Buddha nature and the natural Buddha nature, we're going a little technical. So, first of all, let me ask you, how many agree with me that if our mind, like the dirty water, however dirty the water is, if you remove the dirt, purity will manifest? Just raise hands if you agree with this. So, likewise, our mind, however dirty your mind is, if you remove the dirt, the purity manifests. And then if you remove the dirt completely, partially, we call it we call it nirvana. If you remove the dirt completely, then it's known as Buddhahood. So this is what we need to understand. Now the point is that this is what we have to understand, that our mind has that capacity to remove the dirt and the purity to manifest, and you become at one first stage you attain nirvana, and then through further purification you attain Buddhahood. And in the context of what we said this morning, that what we mean by the first phase, where you remove the one part of the mental defilements and you attain nirvana. Nirvana is, in the loose sense, anyone? Fearlessness. The fearlessness where all your fears dissolve. All your fears dissolve. And in other words, the fear of samsara stops. That is nirvana. So that is in the context of cognitively erroneous apprehension or cognitively erroneous appearance. Cognitively erroneous apprehension is related to the afflictive obscurations. If you remove these, what happens? That your mind feels a freedom from samsara. In other words, that the samsara's freedom, all the pains of samsara stops. That is nirvana. This is in a non-timeless sense, which we have to understand it. Whereas not only the cognitively erroneous apprehension, cognitively erroneous appearance, when that stops, then all the mental defilements are removed. At that point, you attain the Buddhahood. That is, in a loose sense, is known as infinite ease or infinite happiness, and in a technical sense, Buddhahood. So this is what we attain. So this is what we remember. Now, in a more technical sense, we talk about the Buddha nature. So Buddha nature, people describe it, people explain it in different forms. So one of us says, I read this book, in this book it says something different. In another tradition, it says something different. See, so first thing is that we just learn what is said in the mainstream Nalanda tradition. Once you understand this and you're convinced, then you read any other thing. And then on the level of the words, they may differ. On the level of the words, they may differ. But if you don't understand what is said in the mainstream Nalanda tradition, then you can easily get confused. So what it says in this tradition, it says this is this and that is, and then even amongst the traditions, there were debates also, and you can easily be confused. So therefore, first of all, we have to understand, grab at one thing so well, thoroughly understand it, and then go to other things. There's no contradiction there at all. And you can see, you can even explain other concepts very beautifully. So where others think that you are contradicting with what they say, but in actuality, there's no contradiction. Okay, so now with this concept, where our mind, so in the first place, let's say that for example, your coat or your sweater fell in dirt, in a mud, solid mud. So first you wash it, you remove the solid mud. Solid mud is removed. You agree? And then you use the detergent, then subtle stains will be removed. Number 2, you agree? So the first one, mud removed. Likewise, our mind, the gross defilements removed. That is known as the removal of the afflictive obscurations. So there's one level which leads to nirvana. Then you use with the detergent, you remove the subtler stains. What happens is that with your mind, you remove the subtle stains, the cognitively erroneous appearance. When that is removed, then your mind is fully become pure, absolutely pure. That is the Buddha's mind. So it's as simple as that. So this, how many of you understood this? Raise your hand. Thus far, up to this point, where our mind, like a cloth, like your sweater or like the shirt, the thrown or it fell in a mud, solid mud, and then with the ordinary water, the mud disappears, number one, and then with the detergent, even the stains disappear, so it becomes absolutely clean. So 2 phases of the year. How many understood this? So this you apply to your mind. the mind can be removed. At the moment, our mind is defiled. We see that. So if with respect to the causal states, we can easily become irritated, the angry, or we feel attached to things, and jealousy, these things arise. And these are very causal states. We create the causes. On the resultant state, misery is painful. We feel painful. Somebody says something, you feel hurt, and something bad happens to your near and dear ones. Somebody dies, then you feel the pain. These are all the resultant states. These are the indications that causal mental disturbance or mental stains are acting on us for us to feel the effects of them in the form of pains. So we don't want these. So because we don't want these, so these can be removed on two levels. One, the gross one, another one, subtler. So this is so from there we see that, for example, say the dirty water, however dirty it is, purification process, we see that it can become very clean. But whereas, let's say that this, for example, this cover, this lid, I want it as a golden lid, then remove the particles of the steel, remove the particles of the stainless steel, and it disappears. Instead of becoming gold, it disappears. With the dirty water, you remove the dirt. Instead of the water disappearing, water becomes very clean. Okay, anybody who likes to give me the reason why, in the case of dirty water, you remove the pollutants. Instead of the water disappearing, water becomes very clean, purity manifest. Whereas with this, the gold does not manifest. The lid disappears. If you remove the steel parts, it disappears. What's the difference between the two? Anyone quick to save time? What's the difference? Anyone? Where lies the difference? Over there, the Anna, raise hands. Anna, quick. Okay. Manvik, stand up. You'll see over there. Run.
The nature of the water is pure, and hence if you remove the defilements, the nature becomes pure, whereas the nature of the flask is not gold. So if you remove the parts, there's nothing left.
Okay, so how many agree with Anna, Resent? How many agree with Anna, Greg? Very good. So if you don't understand these basic concepts, then the emptiness can be really complicated, number one. And number two, at times you may feel that it's so dry, intellectual exercise. You may feel that it is too complicated. Whereas if you know these concepts well, then you will say, this is so precious concept. This is so precious. The emptiness is very precious. So without which, there's no liberation. There's no hope to get out of samsara. All the remedies that apply becomes just like a temporary adventitious remedy. They didn't become a lasting or the ultimate remedy. So with this, we come to learn that the true nature of the water, however dirty it is, remove the dirt and the purity manifests. So our mind is not like this stainless, like this cover, the lid. But our mind is like the dirty water. It is defiled. However defiled it is, sometimes we see how some people thinking is extremely unruly, very cruel, and you may feel that there's no element of compassion there. Whether is there really a true nature, with the nature inside? You may wonder like this. This is at times you can feel it, and you may feel it very demoralizing. Whereas, if you know the example of the dirty water, however dirty the water is from whichever country, dirty water, just take any water from any dirty water from any country, and you subject same water to purification process, we said that purity manifests. So these examples will help us that, okay, however bad the person is thinking-wise, so negative, with the conducive factors, the true nature can still manifest. as so compassionate, so loving, and full of wisdom. This is for sure. We have to learn this. In fact, I would say that many people, in fact, I myself was of the same the thinking when I was in my 20s, 30s, although I learned about Buddha nature, the presence of Buddha nature in all the beings. But when I interact with the people, when I see someone who's so destructive, so negative, I feel just hopelessness. So this is what I see in many people. And then the leaders or the heads of the institution or somebody who is leading a company, manager, director, whatever. So when you have staff, the thinking wise is then you expect that the staff should know everything. And when the staff does not do what you would expect, you think that, what is this? There's no brain. Actually, it's not that. You have to teach. And perhaps major part of the issue is our inability to teach the person well. We have to teach the person from A to Z. Teach the person and then see how the person. Then if the laziness can kick in. With the laziness, even one knows that will not do that. Oftentimes, many people, they don't know how to do that. So how can I expect the person to do correctly? So therefore, in some institutions, there are training programs, and the sabbatical leaves are there for the person to grow further, and so forth. So, in fact, Buddha nature is a concept which is so important. So, if you understand this much, what Anna Gregg says, that water, however dirty it is, the true nature is so pure. Our mind, your mind, their mind, his mind, her mind, however defiled it is, the true nature is so pure. This is amazing discovery of the Buddha. And in fact, many of the traditions, they talk about a similar concept. But then, of course, are they really identical, not identical? That you have to study well and then check and decide on your own. But if you do see difference, it should not be a reason for us to feel the superiority of others. It is simply to appreciate any facet of the goodness in the explanations, presentation of the other traditions. We just acknowledge them, appreciate them, and then meanwhile, this tradition of which the Buddha taught and the Narendra masters, they explained, this is just amazing, truly, truly a great treasure for us. So having said this, what we said is that our mind, your mind, the true nature is so pure. Remove the dirt and purity manifest. This much, if you understand, okay, that makes sense. So this is Buddha nature concept. But we have to. This is the ideally speaking NMC, and this is the NMC, and then if you're not, you're expected to go in this direction, and not necessary that you have to do it from Tibet House, Delhi, not necessary, but you have to do these courses for your own well-being. For your own well-being, then to know these concepts in a more technical way, technical sense. So once you know it in technical sense, the benefit is that you can read any other concepts from any other tradition, not necessarily Buddhist, even non-Buddhist, some of the non-Buddhist concepts. They talk about the purity, the true nature is so pure. This is so precious. Any concept is so precious. It is not that even within Buddhism, we see that Nalanda Buddhism is so rich and profound. And some other Buddhist concepts, they explain about these things, but if you ask, they press them with more questions, then they get stuck there. It doesn't mean that they're inferior, simply because we, as I said to the NMC 1-2 students, particularly NMC 1 students, I said that we are being spoon-fed by the great Nalanda masters. In fact, I personally felt it very strongly, I think 3 years ago, when I was attending the conference in the university. There I met with the people from different traditions, and then they started to question the concepts, the basic concept taught in Buddhism, and they find it very struggling, very challenging to resolve the concepts the Buddha taught about anatta. self-essence concept, and on the other hand, rebirth concept, how to reconcile these two ideas. They find it very interesting. But in the Nalanda tradition, it's so obvious. So, for example, I was like, these young scholars, they were just too grounded. And later, when I attend these conferences, I realized, wow, this is amazing. In the Nalanda tradition, these are all debated with each of the philosophical traditions, Vaibhashika, South Trandaka, Chittamatra, Madhyamaka, within Madhyamaka, Savatantrik Madhyamaka, Prasanga Madhyamaka, all these debates, they have the presentation own their own points of view, and find how one is challenged by the other system to by the next, and then finally you come to get a broad picture. And I took it for granted. And later I realized, only when I was in the conference, having met with one brilliant scholar from another tradition, like I would say naturally gifted, gifted with intelligence, and a great, highly respected philosopher, and still he's struggling with many of these issues, which in the monastic universities, in the second, third year, this is all discussed. And I was so amazed. So this is where I'm saying that this tradition is so precious, and seeing the preciousness of this tradition, it should not be a reason for you to feel, let's say, the air of superiority. Instead, embrace others with love, affection, and appreciation. Okay. So with this, what I'm saying is that we're talking about the Buddha. Now going into the technical side of the Buddha nature. Technical side of Buddha nature, same. So first of all, we need to know what what divisions of the Buddha nature: proliferating Buddha nature, Ranshineric, and the natural Buddha nature, Gegyuric. Proliferating Buddha nature, Gegyuric, and the natural Buddha nature, Ranshineric. Two of the air. So first, the proliferating Buddha nature. We need to understand this. Proliferating Buddha nature, how that's explained in the mainstream Nalanda tradition, is, say, first a broad understanding, and then I will give you the definition side. Broad understanding is that our mind, if we cultivate it, if you practice it, our mind should become cleaner, purer, and eventually become the Buddha's mind. This we understand it. So a mind, what is a mind? Mind is conventional truth, ultimate truth. The conventional truth, ultimate truth, mind. Conventional truth. Mind is conventional truth. So now look, mind is conventional truth, not only conventional truth, it is permanent, impermanent. It's impermanent. All minds, no matter what mind, Buddha's mind, sentient beings, no matter whose mind, as long as something's a mind, it should necessarily be conventional truth plus impermanent. Don't forget it. Now that this being conventional truth, this is conventional truth, and within that we see that there's one class with the cultivation of the Dharma practice, that one class of the mind starts disappearing. For example, like self-grasping ignorance, anger, attachment. These disappear. So they will, with the cultivation of the path, they don't proliferate into the Buddha's mind. Whereas compassion, bodhicitta, and your mind in general, cultivated, it becomes purer, and become Buddha's mind. So, in short, what is the proliferated mind? Is a mind cultivation of which it should be a mind. So we call it proliferating Buddha nature. It is a mind cultivation of which gradually proliferates into the Buddha's mind. But self-grasping ignorance, self-centered attitude, they will never become Buddha's mind. So proliferating Buddha nature is a mind, cultivation which moves towards the Buddha's mind. So this is the proliferating Buddha nature. Now, which means, for example, like to give, my mind in general. My mind, if I practice, it will become purer. But my self-centered attitude, if I practice, self-centered attitude will not grow. not grow and becomes Buddha's, the mind. It'll never become like that. So there are two classes of the mind, one which diminishes and one which proliferates. So those which proliferate through the cultivation closer towards Buddhahood, these are known as the proliferating Buddha nature. So this, okay, whether it is, not is, you're convinced, not convinced, don't worry. How many understood this much? My mind, there are two classes. One, with the cultivation of the path, they disappear. Another, with the cultivation of the path, it proliferates, it grows to become the Buddha's mind. Makes sense? Okay, so this is known as, if you say that, oh, this is acceptable. If this is acceptable, then just attach the label. That mind is known as that mind, through cultivation, it grows to the Buddha's mind. The label given is that it is a proliferating Buddha nature. You getting it? Just attach the label. Then next is more technical. Natural Buddha nature, Rangshi Nere. So this proliferating Buddha nature, its true nature, when speak about its true nature, this proliferating Buddha nature, the true nature is, for example, like, okay, let's say this flower. Okay, say this flower, it appears as flower. Yes, of course, it not only appears a flower, it is a flower. It's a flower. But if you go into the atomic level by reductionist approach, if you go into the atomic level, we first see that it's made of cells. And then we go deeper, we see it's made of nucleus, cytoplasm, and the cell membrane. And you go deeper into the nucleus, you see the chromosomes, you still go deeper. Okay, let's do that. Let's do that mentally, do it gradually. Don't just jump to the atoms. If you jump to atoms, you will not get anywhere. This is no exception to emptiness. When you meditate on emptiness, when you meditate on emptiness, when you meditate on emptiness, it says some people, they want shortcut. They want, I don't want to go all these processes. I want to go empty statically. So I'm a person. I'm just atoms, metal atoms, and no person. This is not, intellectually you may get something, but experientially you will not get anything. Anything. Say, this, particularly I would say NMC1 participants. NMC1 participants, I'm expecting, okay, NMC1 who completed NMC1. So those of you, I'm expecting you to sometimes share your experience. It doesn't mean that you have realized emptiness. We never know who realized emptiness first. We never know. It depends on multiple factors. It depends on multiple factors. Some people just say, it's like this age. How old are you? Where's your mic? He's keeping the mic hiding at 9. Huh? Louder. How old are you?
9.
I am 9 years old.
I am 9 years old.
Thank you. So at this age, look, at this age, somebody teaches emptiness and you can hit it and you can realize emptiness. We never know what kind of imprint one person has brought from the past life. We never know. So only those people, for example, like His Holiness the Dalai Lama here now, and they just, you see, in the audience, you go there for the audience, and His Holiness is like watching a movie in each of us. He will see your past. You will see your past. You're getting it? So even if you come in a very nice dress, but His Holiness will see your past. You know, I'm not saying that His Holiness has a clairvoyance. We never know. So, most of you know that my thinking is more realistic. I would say that, but His Holiness is extremely sharp. Extremely sharp. You wouldn't believe. But the mother sees your problem, sees your mistakes, sees your weakness. That is not the reason for the mother to hate you. You're getting it? Don't forget it. for the ordinary people, they see your weakness, that becomes to manipulate you, to abuse you on that basis, or to pull you down on that basis. But the mother, knowing your weakness, that becomes a basis for the mother to improve you, to love you more. So this is what happens to His Holiness. So His Holiness just sees, and then it's amazing. I remember I used to be so fascinated. Say, audience of like 30,000 people. 30,000 people in a huge, stadium. His Holiness just scanned the audience for like a few seconds like this. Literally, it is like each one of us, we come under His scan already. So then he says, oh, this person came, that person came, this person, He already would tell you. Me. Okay. So when He sees you, it's just 9-year-old boy. No, He will see, this boy's earlier life, 70 years old, early life as a girl, as a boy, and so forth. But just by his behaviors from there, he's going to read many things. Okay, so on top of that, the clairvoyance is a different story. The ability to read others' mind is a different story. Okay, so what I'm saying is that jumping from just a flower to the atoms, experience will not give you anything, even though you have studied emptiness very systematic for years and years. But with respect to the meditation, when you jump like this, it will not get you anywhere. So therefore, I would say we need to have some sort of patience. Finally, it's not about, for example, some people, with meditation, the first question they ask you is, how long do you meditate? Anybody who asks you how long you meditate, 2 hours a day, 3 hours a day, the person does not know the meaning of meditation. The meditation is not for the sake of meditation. Meditation is for the sake of transforming your mind. For some people, sitting like this for 10 hours. For others, sitting like this for 2 minutes. That can be way more effective in transforming your mind. For example, like for us, these books, we go there, request a teacher, please give the oral transmission of all the books and the explanation, the lineage of the whole book. But for some teachers, say, both sides know the content matter of the book so well. So the first teacher who is supposed to impart the teaching transmission, the teacher may ask you to pick up some points, some technical points from the book, and ask you, and then you may be able to give the answer. You may not give the answer. If you cannot give the answer, then the teacher will explain it, and done. The transmission is done. But for ordinary people like us, we need to get the transmission from the Buddha's teachings, 110 volumes. You have to listen to each word for the ordinary people. But for the realist people, this is not required. So what I'm saying is quality. With respect to first, the study is so important. Extensive studies, very important for emptiness. This is here in this place, such a holy place. This appeal to all of you that for your own well-being, for my own well-being, for your own well-being, you have to go through extensive studies. When you say extensive studies, it doesn't mean that, I have no time. He's talking about extensive studies. It is like the self-negligence is depriving yourself of the great opportunity. So our job is that for my own well-being, this is the way. For example, what the Buddha taught, that failing to see the emptiness, the peace, and the unborn nature, the beings wander in samsara. It's exactly what we're doing. And the one wandering is so much pain, and pain is so acute. We need to shed tears, deprivation, and hopelessness, and gloominess. These are the realities of your self-grasping ignorance. But this is not your true nature. But we have to live with this. If we don't see the true nature within ourselves, it's because of this that His Holiness all the many years of teachings, I remember His Holiness always the citing the Indian teacher, Indian master Nagabodhi, who said in Tibetan, Chanju Suyan Jimai. Huh? Then, okay, no Geshe test. Jima. Very good. Okay. Chanju Suyan Jimai. Suyan is Sumai. Ranshu Yonsu Shebale, Tela Sange Sange Je. So what it says is that Buddhahood is not bestowed upon you by anyone. Buddhahood meaning full awakening, perfect purity, is not bestowed upon you by anyone, nor is the cause of the Buddhahood being held by someone for you. Let me repeat it. Buddhahood is not bestowed upon you by anyone, nor is the cause of the Buddhahood being held by anyone for you. It is only through discovering the Buddha nature within that one becomes Buddha. Let me repeat it. But the Buddhahood is not bestowed upon you by anyone, nor is the cause of the Buddhahood held by anyone for you. It is only through discovering your own Buddha nature that you become a Buddha. So you have the Buddha nature, ultimate source of the Buddha nature within. And one thing that we also need to remember, for example, like in Tibetan classes, we never focus on Guru Yoga, Guru devotion. We never focus on this. Of course, His Holiness gave a very clear instruction that we need to focus on the studies and to make the people learn how to be happy, and not on the ritual side, Guru Yoga, Guru devotion, and so forth. This is not what His Holiness never encouraged people to go in this direction. Only when you reach a certain level where your knowledge becomes very stable, grounded, experience-wise, also very matured, then you'll be in a position to decide who should be your guru. So till that point, this is not emphasized. Whereas some people, there's a tremendous emphasis on this. Oh, who's your guru? When you don't do anything good, nobody will ask who's your guru. The moment you are growing, and without hunting for guru, you're growing well, then people will come. Who's your guru? You say, no, I'm no guru. And without root guru, then you'll not go at all. No realization, no enlightenment. Then do you have guru? Yes, I have. You root guru. Yes, I have this guru. These big names all come. So this is where we are going wrong. So what is important is to study well. So finally, okay, look, the guru. Now this is again, in a way, this is for me is easy because that the main audience today is to be the NMC1 and NMC2. So the guru, there are two gurus. One is the ultimate guru and the second one is conventional guru. One is the ultimate guru and the other one is provisional guru or the conventional guru. There are two. So the gurus that we have, external gurus, they are not your ultimate guru. External gurus are the provisional guru or the conventional guru. External gurus, their job is to introduce you to the internal guru. External guru's job is to introduce you to the internal guru. So therefore, keep this in mind. Some people, they become too obsessed with the external gurus, and forgetting the internal guru. So what is the external guru? The guru that people are seeking. This is the external guru. And what is the internal guru? This is something that we need to keep in mind. In the first place, what is guru? The guru is guru or a teacher, spiritual mentor, is somebody who would protect you, from falling into the wrong direction. This is the job of the guru. Then they say who really pray. For example, external guru, when they are with you, yes, you're protected. But when they are not with you, then what should you do? External guru is not there. So
External guru's job is to introduce you to the internal guru. Internal guru, once introduced, it is extremely, extremely reliable, where your internal guru will never leave you. Of course, external gurus, if they're really, really realized, then your connection, that's very different. For example, like Lama Adisha Debangara Shri Gyana, and his student just the Lama Adisha Debangara Shri Gyana and Rumdu June. So in this life, they met the Lama Adisha maybe in his 50s or the late 40s or early 50s when he came to Tibet. And the Damdul Gyojune may be a little younger. And they adult age. So with the prophecy of Aretara, they met in Tibet, and once met from that day, then every day together. But finally, Lama Adisha Debangara Shri Gyana, he passed away, and Damdul Gyojune, as a student, was left. So external guru separated, but of course two of them are connected since many, many, many lifetimes. They connected, and Aretara made the prophecy that your student, many lifetimes your student, will come to meet you in Tibet. So these prophecies are made. But generally speaking, for us, keep in mind the external guru's job is to introduce you to the internal guru. So internal guru, the guru's job, in the first place, guru's job is to protect you from falling into the wrong direction. So the external guru, when they're there with you, they can protect you. But physically you can be separated. Then what do? So their job is to introduce you to the internal guru. What's the internal guru? Internal guru is the wisdom of emptiness and the bodhicitta. Wisdom of emptiness and bodhicitta. Once you have these two will never leave you. These two will never leave you. They will continue to protect you. These two will continue to protect you days in and out. They will protect you. This life, future life, there's no separation. So the job of the external guru is to introduce you to the internal guru. Once you are passed on to the internal guru, then forever you're protected. So this is what we need to remember. Okay, so having said this, we are talking about the natural Buddha nature. What is the natural Buddha nature? This is going to be a little technical, and it's not that easy that, okay, it's just you raise hand and then you raise hand and you get it. No. So even if you conceptually you understand something, or intellectually you understand something, still it may leave a kind of a vacuum or a gap in your mind. So why this is known as Buddha nature? Why this, what I'm going to explain to you, why that is referred to as the Buddha nature? This can remain a question. And this is a question many other scholars from different traditions, they ask you the same question. They ask the same question. So therefore, the fact that we met with this tradition where natural Buddha nature in the form of, okay, now what is natural Buddha? This is what I'm trying to explain. The ultimate reality or emptiness of the proliferating Buddha nature is known as the natural Buddha nature. To make it very easy, emptiness of the proliferating Buddha nature is the natural Buddha nature. So, say, at least for the time being, what we need to know is that there are two Buddha natures. What are they? Proliferating Buddha nature and natural Buddha nature. What is proliferating Buddha nature? Proliferating Buddha nature is the mind, the cultivation of which grows closer towards full awakening or Buddhahood. That is a proliferating. It's a mental. It's a mind. It's a mind. Make it very clear. Don't just say mental state. Mental state is a very vague. There's ambiguity there. Mental state. It is a mind. There's no ambiguity there. Proliferating Buddha is a mind. It's a mind cultivation of which will grow closer towards full awakening or Buddhahood. That is proliferating Buddha nature. And the natural Buddha nature, so once you know what the proliferating Buddha nature is, then the emptiness of this mind, emptiness of the proliferating Buddha nature is the natural Buddha nature. Emptiness of the proliferating Buddha nature is the natural Buddha nature. Okay, how many of you at least intellectually understood the raise hands? Second, natural Buddha nature. Very good. So now the next question is that our job is why this emptiness of the proliferating Buddha nature is referred to as the natural Buddha, is referred to as the Buddha nature in the first place. Why is this Buddha nature? Why? Why? This is a very serious question asked by the many other the scholars from different traditions. 계시겠습니다. 이 랑시네리 산지를 스트레스 간치는 거래. 전동. 랑시네리 산지를 스트레스 간치는 거래. 예서는 나 September tomba. The Yuri the bird of tomba di, and she the Sanji readers cousin loved. Sunda. Na. This Sanji cousin share. So I'm just checking, asking why does the emptiness, just the emptiness of the proliferating Buddha nature is referred to as Buddha nature? Why?
상계의 승기 준이당 아주 승기 준이라 개발하고 있었지.
겨우들 대부분 동바이 랑게 드베스로 동바이 개발매라. 이 준이 이 랑신이 나오래. 나 랑게 드베스로 동바시다.
랑게 또 말이.
랑게 드베스 동바시 뭐.
나
산지 투주기 투 랑게 드베스로 동바타. 아란주기 셈 랑게 드베스로 동바시 뭐.
지금
안디 산지린 소래.
네 말이.
말아. 준이 이디 집어 있는 디인과 같이.
다르기 차는지.
Okay. So these young people, they need to think more. Young scholars. Kishima.
I'm going to say in Twitter. But so
Geshe is saying that the emptiness of the proliferating follow-up question is there. Hey, young man, give it to the Geshe. Follow-up question is there. So Geshe is saying that the emptiness of the proliferating Buddha nature is the Buddha nature because the transmutation, or when you become enlightened, that aspect, emptiness of the proliferated Buddha nature, becomes the Buddha's, the national Dharmakaya. National Dharmakaya. So the next follow-up question is, so just as it is the case that the emptiness of autonomous substantial reality, not just emptiness of intrinsic reality, emptiness of autonomous substantial reality of the proliferating Buddha nature, is that also the Buddha nature? Why not? Because it will transmute into the absence of the autonomous substantial reality of the Buddha's mind when you become Buddha. No. Why not? Oh. Okay. Okay. Can have
Sem kora tempo tu tonga imba songta ni rangsi neri charo rako.
Ani ti choksi tempo tu tonga rangsi neri re.
Marata sem
choksi tempo tu tonga rangsi neri re mare. Marwa. Karijine. Ko rangsi tempo tu tonga si marwa.
Sem biting du chapa.
Karijine chapa karijine.
Sem tempo tu tonga de la sanges.
Karijine.
Ti ko.
Aranzu sem tempo tu tonga sange marwa.
China kaju tu de.
Na ti kaju na ali tong dilata. Okay. So the young ones, including myself, although I'm not a young one, we need to think more. You're getting it? The question is, what's the question? Why is the emptiness of the proliferating Buddha nature is referred to as the Buddha nature in the first place. Once you understand, it makes some sense that it is Buddha nature, then we can label it as natural Buddha nature. That is easy. Okay, what's the question? What question did it ask? Why the emptiness of proliferating Buddha nature is referred to as the Buddha nature in the first place? If it gives you a deeper sense, yes, of course, it is a Buddha nature. Then the next question is that so this Buddha nature, that you attach a label that is known as natural Buddha nature, and the label, why this label natural is added. So these all will be questions for us. In the process of our classes, where I leave with some questions, please make sure that you make note of these questions. Why? Later on, as you understand where emptiness becomes better, then you will go through these questions. They'll be extreme. They will become like what is that? In the companies, it's known as the quality control. Quality control in companies. You talk about quality control. What is meant by quality control? Mike. Raise your hand, raise your hand, yes.
Yes, Geshe, the quality control is to make sure that all the goods has consistent quality before selling to the market.
Exactly. So where okay, this is one understanding. Another is where, say, a company produces a new item like mobile, and it may have the features which are not user friendly, and you don't know. So where the problems are, then you give it free for some young people, intelligent people to use them, and then to identify what needs to be improved further. You're getting it? So this is, again, a feature to develop it further. So these questions will be extremely helpful for us. These questions, you mark them, and later on, particularly this text, and here in Drepung Monastery, in the presence of His Holiness, my teacher, this is something, I don't know whether or not this will ever happen again. This is a big question. So we take the maximum advantage of this, and all these questions, you just note it down for the later contemplations. Okay. So with this, these are two Buddha natures. Now, from this, if this is the Buddha nature, our job is to remove the mental dirt so that the Buddha nature manifests in the form of a real Buddha. So, what should we do? How to remove the dirt? Okay, my question to you is, to make the question clearer, is that, let's say that, okay, many of those who attended the earlier other retreats, you will have some sense. Those who do not attend the retreat, I'm not too sure whether you understand what I'm saying. So let's say that your sweater or your shirt, okay. 1 month ago, my handkerchief, brand new handkerchief, it fell in the mud 1 month ago. And I washed it under the running water. It became very clean. I'm not worried. Initially, when it fell, I thought, okay, now my handkerchief is gone. Brand new handkerchief have gone, become so dirty. But I wash it under the running water. It becomes very clean. I'm relieved. 1 week ago, which means 3 weeks later, it fell again somewhere. And in the dark, and I sense that there's something wrong there. Oh, but don't worry, because the last time it fell in the mud, I washed it under running water, it was so clean. This time also I can wash it. I wash it under running water, it is not becoming clean at all. Why? Anyone? Okay, there's no. Okay, yes. Srindavala.
Nature of dirt is different.
Okay, so in the first case, it fell in ordinary mud, simple mud. In the second case, I didn't give you any clue that it fell in the mud or where. I didn't give you a clue. I just said it fell somewhere in the dark, which means that I didn't know what the dirt or the stain is. So in the first case, it was mud. You wash under running water, it becomes clean. In the second case, it fell in a pool of grease. Grease. It will not go away under running water. How many agree with me, raise hands? Thank you. So the Srindavala is saying that there's a difference in the nature of the defilement. So in second case, what should we do to wash it? Srindavala. So you said that the nature of the defilement is different. Nature of the stain is different. If that is the case, then in the first case, you use water as the remedy. In the second case, what remedy should I use to clean it? It's just simple water does not help. Raise hand, because he needs to give the mic to you. Raise hand, Srindavala. Yes.
Maybe detergent.
We need to use detergent. Very good. Thank you, Srindavala. Thank you. Okay, so we need to use a special detergent to remove the grease. So likewise, to know what kind of remedy to apply to cleanse our mind. Okay, don't be so. This boy looks so cute. So everybody's attention is to him. Nobody's listening to me. Okay. So, okay. So no, my train of thought is gone. Okay. What I was saying. Okay. So what remedy to apply to remove the mental dirt so that your Buddha nature will become manifest? It depends on knowing the nature of the defilements which stain your mind. You have to know the nature of the defilement. This is very important. If you don't know the nature of the defilement, then it is like me trying to remove the grease under the running water. It will not go away. So to know what remedy to apply, we need to know the nature of the defilements. And now we need to explore what is the nature of defilements which pollute our mind, which pollute the mind to obscure this incredibly precious Buddha nature from awakening. So what are the defilements? Checking the defilements, we talked about the afflictive obscurations and the cognitive obscurations. I'm not going to go into detail. Afflictive obscurations and cognitive obscurations. And afflictive obscurations, they all boil down to
Grasping ignorance.
afflictive obscurations all boil down to self-grasping ignorance. Okay, how many agree with our full name? Gelek Chambala. So the Gelek Chambala is saying that all the mental defilements, afflictive obscurations, all boil down to self-grasping ignorance. Okay, so from there we see that the ignorance is at the root of the afflictive obscurations. Now, what about the cognitive obscurations? What about the cognitive obscurations? The nature of the cognitive obscurations. Anyone? Omala? Self-cherishing. Okay, good. Anyone else? Anyone else? Okay, over there.
Здравствуйте, Гешла. Мы забываем, что существуют другие люди, другие. Мы забываем, что есть другие.
Okay, what we can do is that, yes, speak to the other mic.
Venerable Geshe Sayana said that it is when we are forgetting about other beings.
Okay, we're forgetting about other beings. Or maybe before the rushing with question answer, maybe Alexla, you can help. Yes. Okay. Anyone else? Cognitive obscurations. Anyone else? Okay. Anam. Then the next is okay. First, Shaoli. Shaoli over there. Shaoli, raise hand. Raise hand. Yes.
Geshe, I would say this is the wrong mental imputation of the objective appearance.
Okay. Say the ignorance related to the mistaken appearance of objective reality.
Yes.
Ignorance pertaining to the mistaken appearance, not mistaken apprehension. Mistaken appearance of objective reality. Very good. And next, Anna.
They obscure the mind flowing in all directions to all phenomena, the omniscient mind.
The mind?
They obscure the omniscient mind which flows freely to all phenomena.
Okay, the obscuration, there is no obscuration there. What it is, we're not sure. But this obscuration, the job of that is to stop you from knowing all phenomena simultaneously. Oh, that is certainly the next one. What exactly is that? What exactly is that mind which stops you from on the cognizing all phenomena simultaneously? So, always speaking, the answer that we get is good, self-centered attitude, and what stops you from helping others, and the mistaken appearance of objective reality, and the mind which stops us from on the knowing, cognizing all phenomena freely or spontaneously. So, the idea is that if you could remember the metaphor of the smell of the garlic. The smell of the garlic, okay, these are things, a very quick revision for us. So somebody smashed garlic in my glass, and then I said, I'm not eating garlic. So who smashed garlic in my mug? And you said, I'm very sorry, I did it. Then you remove the solid garlic. Solid garlic is a metaphor for afflictive obscurations. So you remove the solid garlic, and then you wash it so well under running water. So there's no solid garlic there at all now. No solid garlic. You smell it, it still smells garlic. Although there's no solid garlic there, there's no trace of garlic, but you smell it, it still smells garlic. So that subtle smell, after having removed all the solid garlic, solid part of the garlic, that is the metaphor for the cognitive obscurations. But what exactly is that? This says what, yes, the job of that is to stop your mind from knowing all phenomena simultaneously. But what exactly is that? That is what Shaoli said, that the element of the mind which gives rise to the erroneous or mistaken appearance of things as objective real. Let me say this again. The erroneous element of the mind which makes you to have the mistaken appearance of objective reality or intrinsic reality. This is the cognitive obscuration. So in other words, this is a subtle stain, like even the smell of the garlic is related to the garlic. Even the smell of the garlic is related to the garlic, because originally if there's no garlic at all, the smell cannot come. So even the smell which is left later after removing all the solid part, that smell is related to the garlic. So we see that even the cognitive obscurations, they are related. They're related to the self-grasping ignorance, and the afflictive obscurations, no doubt, everything boils down to the self-grasping ignorance. And subtle stains, they don't arise out of the self-grasping ignorance, but they are associated with the self-grasping ignorance. So the remedy remains the same. Whatever is the remedy for the self-grasping ignorance will remain the same for the cognitive obscurations. So now, having known that all the mental defilements which obscure this Buddha nature within us, they're all associated with the self-grasping ignorance, what should be the remedy now? You said something? Huh? Yes, over there. Things no.
Was about non-dual emptiness.
Okay. Wisdom of non-dual emptiness, or the non-dual wisdom of emptiness.
Non-dual wisdom of emptiness.
Okay.
Method and wisdom. Combination.
Okay. So, thank you. Wisdom of emptiness, in simple sense, wisdom of emptiness, and then you can make it make it more precise, non-dual wisdom of emptiness, or direct realization of emptiness, and so forth. So, wisdom of emptiness, that becomes the remedy. So, having said this, so this wisdom plays a very important role. And now the next question is that this wisdom is the one which can eradicate our mental defilements. But simply by the wisdom, it doesn't guarantee that our defilements will be removed completely. So what determines, for example, say the job of the axe is to cut the poisonous tree. To cut the poisonous tree. The job of the axe is to cut the poisonous tree. Having an axe, does it guarantee that the poisonous tree is going to be cut? No. Why not?
Motivation. It depends also about the motivation, the force, and also about the if it's able to cut, if it's efficient to cut very well. If it's well efficient to cut very well or not. The efficiency of the axe and the motivation to manipulate the axe.
So the Yerushalayim is saying that this axe per se doesn't guarantee that the poisonous tree will be cut. So for this axe to cut the poisonous tree, we require the motivation, enthusiasm to cut this. And of course, the person should have strong arms, and the axe should be sharp. And the motivation is so important. So the wisdom of emptiness is like the axe, and the motivation required. And the motivation, there are two kinds of motivation, generally speaking. Otherwise, taking the hundreds of motivation, in the context of eradicating the affective obscurations and cognitive obscurations, there are two motivations. What are two motivations? I know now people are ready. But two motivations, Quake? Yes. Anna Sophie?
Is it personal liberation and Buddhahood for the sake of all sentient beings?
Thank you. Motivation for personal benefit, personal enlightenment or nirvana, or motivation for Buddhahood for the benefit of all sentient beings. So these are two motivations. If this wisdom of emptiness is driven by the motivation of personal liberation, then it will at the most eradicate the afflictive obscurations, and it will not help to eradicate the cognitive obscurations. So it will only take you to nirvana, not to Buddhahood. Whereas if you want to attain the full awakening, where your potential inside is manifested fully, for that matter, we need to have the motivation of renunciation plus bodhicitta, plus. It is not a replacement, it's a plus. Motivation of the renunciation plus bodhicitta, that's required. So with this in mind, then the wisdom of emptiness will have the power to cut the afflictive obscurations as well as the cognitive obscurations. Now, having said this, how many got this booklet? Raise hands. This booklet, you got it? You don't get it. Okay, where are these booklets hiding? Okay, so usually this is sometimes this is a problem of our Tibet House staff. We brought everything from Tibet House to the retreat place, wherever it is, and they will go back once more. These books are made just for the purpose to be distributed. It's not for to go back. Okay, so let me quickly explain about this booklet. This is not a really book. This is more like a booklet. This is the outlines of the volume 3. Volume 3, not the full volume 3, the section on insight. Insight meaning a special insight, the wisdom part. This is the outline, which Lama Tsongkhapa drafted. And that too, I requested Lajunla to work on this, to take out all the outlines related to this and compile in the book. And so design made by Sirin Tundubla, our IT staff, the in charge of the IT department, Tibet House. So this, please make sure that you get a copy for yourself. This booklet, it says, the outlines of the chapter inside of Lamrim Chenmo, 3rd volume. And so here you will see the reference numbers, cross-reference numbers, page numbers in Tibetan, page numbers in English, page numbers in English based on the book edited by Professor Joshua Cutler. No, Professor Joshua, not Cutler. Professor Joshua, yes. Cutler? What is full name? Joshua Cutler, okay, thank you. And this book, yes, okay, so we are so happy to have Professor Roger Jackson here. Raise his hand. He is not happy, I know. Professor Roger Jackson is also involved in is a part of the translator committee of this whole 3 volumes of Lamrim. Professor Roger Jackson is there. We are very honored to have Professor Jackson here and Professor Pamela here. Pamela, raise hand. Yes. Okay. So this will be very, very helpful. And those of you who would like to also refer to the Tibetan, there are many Tibetan the editions. So the page number is according to the one edition which I used to prepare for this class. So those of you who are interested have to have the Tibetan copy. I can give you the soft copy. I cannot give you I don't have the hard copy. I can give you the soft copy of the Tibetans. Just let me know, or otherwise you can request one of the organizers, and they will give you this soft copy. Okay, so this would be very helpful, and I would say if the organizers, the Mana Vichingla and Achikasanla, 3 of you, if you can once in a while remind me to refer to the outline, this would be very, very, very helpful. Okay, and perhaps within this, there may be 1 or 2 page number. I'm not too sure whether there can be some errors here and there. I'm not too sure, but we will, at least we have a material here good for us. So with this in mind, now what we do is that what we sense here is that we need to have the motivation of renunciation. We need the motivation of bodhicitta. And then with this, we need the wisdom of emptiness. So the wisdom of emptiness it is said that liberating path, all the practices and the paths that we practice, they fall under 2 categories. One is known as the liberating path, and the other one is the ripening path. A liberating path and the ripening path. A liberating path is Tuljig Lam in Tibetan. Tuljig Lam, and ripening path is the Minjig Lam. Tuljig Lam means all the paths of the practices and that we do, aiming to attain nirvana Buddhahood. They should necessarily fall under these 2 categories. What are they? Liberating path and the ripening path. Okay, so what is the liberating path? What is the ripening path? Very clear. Only the wisdom of emptiness, only the wisdom of emptiness alone is the liberating path. Wisdom of emptiness alone is the liberating path. And all others fall under the category of the ripening path. For example, the motivation of bodhicitta, motivation of renunciation, impermanence meditation, and so forth, and single point of meditation, shamatha, everything falls under the category of the ripening paths. So why these 2 are given 2 different labels is that For example, if you're suffering in the dream, if you're suffering in the sleep because of the very scary dream, what will liberate you? What will liberate you from the fear in the dream? Okay, the Indranaji. Awakening, wake up. Wake up, this is the only way. For example, say that the ghost in the dream you dream of a ghost chasing you, and there's so much of fear, and you're say somebody comes like your dad, mom, brother, sister. Somebody comes and says, what's the problem with you? Oh, a ghost is chasing me. Or let's say that a dog is chasing me. And who is the dog? And then you show the dog, and the mom, dad, brother, whoever goes to chase the dog away. Are you happy now? You're happy, not happy? You're very happy. You're very happy. And then your dad, mom tells you that, okay, now can we leave? I said, yes. They leave. Again, the dog comes. So the fear goes away just temporarily. If you want to get away from this fear completely, what should we do? Wake up. Wake up. This is the only way. This is the only liberating, which will liberate you from the fear of the ghost chasing you or a dog chasing you in the dream. This is the only way. All others are temporary measures. They are not the ultimate measures. So likewise, seeing emptiness, the wisdom of emptiness is the only liberating path which will help you to awaken from the sleep of ignorance. And the rest of the paths, all the other practices, whatever, including, for example, let's say Bodhicitta practice, renunciation, impermanence meditation, and the awareness meditation. So all these practices, they fall under the ripening paths. And how do you know this? This is a very serious question. You're getting, how do you know this? That the wisdom of emptiness alone is the liberating path, and all others. But in the absence of the wisdom of emptiness, then nothing can really liberate you from samsara. Forget about Buddhahood. Even samsara, you cannot get away from samsara to attain nirvana. It's not possible. How do we know this? This is the question. So, how do we know this? What answer would you give? Anyone? Anila, what do you think? What's the answer, Anila? The question is that how do we know that the wisdom of emptiness alone is the liberating path and all others are the ripening paths?
Only the wisdom of emptiness is the only antidote to eradicating.
How do you know that?
How do you know that? If you practice it, then the ignorance will disappear.
Okay. In a way, the answer is very good answer. Anyone else? Yes, then Sundabala.
You see the unborn nature of things, how really things exist.
So if you know that, so this knowledge, how can we be so confident and say this is the only liberating path, only?
Because afflictive obscurations, cognitive obscurations can't affect you anymore. Because you see how things actually exist.
How not? How can we know that?
Because you can't say you have achieved anything because you're already there. It's that awareness you abide in.
How do we know? How do we know that anyone else? Okay, Dr. Doran. Dr. Doran first, yes.
All right, because the Buddha has achieved it in his enlightenment, and he has taught us. And,
thank you, Dr. Doran. Here, your name again? Sorry.
Yeah, because there is no sense of I anymore.
Your name.
My name is Lawrence.
Lawrence.
Yes, because there is no I anymore. There is no observer. There is no I.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Very sure.
There's no I.
No.
There's no self.
There's no observer. There's no observed objects.
Okay, so samsara stops.
Samsara is empty of inherent existence. Is by convention.
Samsara exists or not exists?
Samsara exists in terms of conceptualizations. It doesn't exist because it is devoid of intrinsic nature.
Okay. So 12 links of dependent origination do not exist?
On the conventional level, by way of appearances.
3 jewels don't exist? 3 jewels.
The 3 jewels exist.
Law of karma exists?
Yes, but this is the way we conceive the reality. This is not how things are.
My question, do they exist, not exist?
What?
Law of karma.
The law of karma exists.
Okay, exists.
Yes.
I exist.
The law of karma exists by mere conditionedness.
Okay, so I exist by mere conditionedness.
Yes.
I exist.
By mere conditionedness.
This is what I'm saying. I exist. Okay, so the point is that this is the beauty of the Nalanda tradition. So for these young scholars, there's no ambiguity. We have to be very clear. Yes, no. There should be clarity there. I exist, not exist. This is a very serious question. You getting it? So going back to the main question is that that how do we know that the wisdom of emptiness alone is the liberating path? And how do we know that? Okay, first let me see okay, here, Sonamla. How do we know that? In the first place, do you agree or not? Let me check with him. The wisdom of emptiness alone is the liberating path. Yes, no. Then I will follow up. Okay, if you say yes, then we are on the same boat. The next question is, how do we know that this is the only liberating path? How do you know that? So how can somebody know that?
Yamongi tizu tsangma tuksa de zo dene mariba lain de la tugi dus. Ani mariba lain di zindang kandi jigre shala di. Ani chunyi ngoma shengi. Chunyi ki doksho jila zingi de la ni mariba lain shaki dus. Ta digi ni denzin lain di se sona. Ta denzin se.
Okay, so my question to he's explaining something. My question to you is how give it. Why renunciation per se is not the liberating path. Nijun Sambokhrarang, the Chuljelam Harjimare.
Nijun Sambagi Naranzo, the Samlo Tandang Kebarjimon, so Ane Tarbo Tabella and the Tartala and the Yemone Tarbachigoragi. And in Yemone Tarwadilla, Tarba Lavoda, Nijun did Tardo Sambajimando. And digi ani tarba khorang so nyemon digi yu kari me ngosona ani nyemon diko shigdo gore azone dinam yune zindanga la kirisheni.
Okay, so the Geshe is saying that the first how the wisdom of emptiness alone is the liberating path. So the standard answer Geshe is giving is that all misery somehow they're connected with the ignorance, self-grasping ignorance, and the remedy to overcome the ignorance is the wisdom. And then my question is that the motivation of the renunciation per se, motivation of renunciation, is that not the liberating path? And he said no, and how not? This is just the motivation side. So then even the wisdom of emptiness, that is the application side, just the application side, it doesn't have the liberating factor. How do you say it's a liberating path?
No. Drogodo di somdanga khala tsegodo le samloji yo che. Taina drogongone toedi da mebaso ite khala san cham.
Ani khala dire mane.
Andi khala dir.
Khala dire saedire.
Khala di.
Saedi maro. Saedi toedi sumaro.
Mare.
And Khala Desha to talk to that. Okay. So basically, he's giving the metaphor of the same that the birth of renunciation and what is the liberating factor. Same, if somebody is hungry, then the motivation to look for food, that I should remove my hunger, I should look for food, that is motivation. That is in lieu of the renunciation. And then actually acquiring the food and eating it, that is the liberating factor of the hunger. So I said, which one, the food or the eating it? So he said the food, not eating it. Why not?
Yeah, 민지가 또 람고 미야에서
말해. 이 칼라사야 디 liberating factor 같이 말해.
사이드 칼라디 맞아 저거는 다 되어 있기도 칼라라게. 사이드가 탑람지 그다니.
아순서 사이드 칼라다 마선 루문도. 니 칼라디 탑람으로 하네.
칼라디 탑람으로.
하지 말해.
그런 게다 강에 대한 버전이 딱다니 라트니.
아순서 사이드 강에 대한 라트로. 하지 말라.
장소분다 개미지 신도니 와차십니다. 그게 어디 돈이 시작돼. 이모린요. 이모린이 어디
Okay, what Genhapa Sering is saying is that he's citing the source from the Pramana Vartika. Pramana Vartika, where it says that the loving kindness and etc., loving kindness, etc., since that they don't go in contradiction with the ignorance, so therefore they are not the liberating factor. So therefore, they don't eliminate the severe problems of samsara. Let me repeat it. Given that the compassion, so forth, they don't go in contradiction with the ignorance, so therefore they don't help to eradicate, or they are not they don't exterminate the ills of samsara. So this is a citation from Acharya Dharmakirti's text. Therefore, now the remedy required to eradicate this ignorance. So ignorance is there, so the remedy lies in the wisdom. Okay, so again, this question that I posed, and it's very important for us to just note it down, put this question down, and later on, think, how do you know that this is, say, if I were to meet with somebody who says that just meditate on the breathing meditation, this will take you to enlightenment. And you say, no, that's not true. This is a ripening path. Then the person says, how do you know this? So you have to explain it. So how we are discussing is because we have something in common. We believe we have some common systems which we agree upon. So I'm actually trying to take these young scholars beyond that, but they're still taking for granted that I am in that category, in that boat. So the question is, these questions, particularly for all of us, is that if somebody who comes to say that, okay, just practice a breathing exercise, breathing meditation, focus on breath, and this will take you to enlightenment. Or someone says that just observe your senses and all your reactivity, the reactivity or the reaction towards the stimulus, they all stop, and your negative karma stop, and first, because of by observing it, you learn how not to react. As such, afflictions will not arise, and the karmas will not be created. So this is how we are liberated. Yes, there are many systems like this. So it is not that my one is correct, yours one is wrong. You should be convinced. You should be convinced. And if you're truly convinced of this, then if somebody says something different, then it's not about fighting, combating, proving that yours one is correct, and then proving that yours one is correct. This is purely, I would say, it may go towards chauvinism.
It may go to the chauvinism. So what I would suggest is that is for your well-being. Is that I want to stop my tears of samsara completely. So for that matter, the text says that this is only liberating path. How do I know this? How do I know this? This will make you very open-minded, very unbiased, and particularly when somebody else would come. And we never know that you may have a karmic connection to help the other person, to let that person realize that what you've studied in the Nalanda great master's teachings, that is something the other person will get to be exposed to through your connection. We never know. So therefore, this is how we need to learn that, for example, whatever we are, it's not challenging you and you challenging me. No, it's about, say, getting conviction. So this is the only liberating path. And then you read all these sources in the Buddha's own teachings. The Buddha very clearly indicated that this is the only liberating path. So once you see that, then what is the first thing is try to understand emptiness. First thing is, before you say that, okay, intellectually, because this is a counterforce to the ignorance, and ignorance is the root of all the miseries, instead of saying this, of course, this framework, what you learn from the text is so precious. But if you explain this to somebody else, they will say, no, I don't agree with this, what is that? It's all related to ignorance. Yes, ignorance of seeing things objective reality, no. Ignorance of not knowing how to observe your senses. Ignorance of not knowing how to observe your breath. That is a problem. So that makes you to react. That makes you engage in the karma, accumulate karma, and that makes you revolve around samsara. So this is how the others. So there, it's not about the competition, it's not a combat. It's about your own well-being and our compassion, well-being for others. So for that, the first thing is you have to have the experience, you and I, we have to have the experience of what is emptiness. One, you have to have the experience of what it's like to meditate on pure breath, senses, mind. You have to have experience of these yourself. You need to have the experience. For example, someone said, just the breathing, just keep focus on the breath, all your volitions will stop. Some say the senses, your volitions will stop. Some say awareness of awareness, your volitions will stop. You experience it yourself. We have to practice ourselves. Practice this and study emptiness, practice it, and then see to the difference yourself. You have the experience of the difference. And then with this experience, you become very confident that while all the others, the practices are so precious, in one way or the other, they are all assisting, complementing each other. But what we should be doing is that I have to have the experience of all these things. And then from your experience, you will say, okay, never mind, okay, it's fine. You think that this is the liberating path, but I would say that maintain an open mind. Whatever you have learned, don't delete it. Keep it with you. Practice it. Meanwhile, there's another ocean, emptiness. Study this and see what it is like and see to the difference. See to the difference. You're getting it? See the difference, and then you will decide yourself. Okay, so let's say that, so this would be, okay, it's already 4:42. So let me quickly finish with this part, then we'll stop here. How to manage it? So what the Geshe Sering and Geshe, what they're saying is that our destructive, so all of pains are related to the contaminated karmas. And contaminated karmas are related to, they're triggered by afflictions. And afflictions triggered by inappropriate attention. And inappropriate triggered by self-grasping ignorance. So again, what makes you so confident with all these sequence without making a mistake? Huh? Nagarjuna taught it. Okay, what is that? What did Nagarjuna teach?
Raise hand. Victoria.
The ceasing of karma and afflictions is nirvana. Karma and afflictions arise from conceptual thought, inappropriate attention. This inappropriate attention in turn arises from elaborations of self-grasping ignorance. This self-grasping ignorance ceases by or into emptiness.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. So this is from where?
It's from
Madhyamika. More Madhyamika Karika chapter
18.
18, verse number
5.
5. Perfect. Okay, thank you. Wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you. Okay. So I'm not going to go into detail. I'm so happy that you have these on your fingertips. So having said this, we see that finally it is so the way these two scholars they're explaining is that all these miseries they boil down to the self-grasping ignorance, and ignorance to be dissolved into the expanse of the emptiness or by the wisdom of emptiness. Okay, this is what we learned. Now, finally we see that the one thing which is almost like accepted universally amongst the great traditions, Buddhist, non-Buddhist, is that our problems arise from the karmas, and the karmas arise from their respective motivations. What is that motivation? In the Buddhist context, that is afflictions, and these contaminant karmas, afflictions to go more detail by the conceptualization of inappropriate intention, and which in turn arises from the conceiving things as object real. So this is what I've learned. So then the next question is that from this, the importance is placed on the eradicating the contaminated karmas, particularly negative karmas, non-vicious karmas. And particularly, and then later on we come to see that even the contaminated virtues, they own, say, the flaws. Contaminated virtues are very important, precious, but it is blended with the contamination. That part, contamination, need to be eradicated. Like for example, say, like a burning gold, and okay, this is burning, it burns my hand. So you throw it, you're throwing gold. And you're throwing gold, so, oh no, it's gold, I should not throw it, I keep it, it burns my hand. So a smart person will segregate the two. How to segregate it? Put this into cold water or water. Just let the fire go away and the gold is left. Likewise, contaminated virtues, it has two elements. One is the virtue side and the other one is contamination side. Virtue side is so precious. For example, our, say, compassion. Sentient beings, bodhicitta, sentient beings, compassion. They're all contaminated virtues. They are virtues, but they're contaminated. So there's an element of contamination. So we need to learn how not to destroy the virtue, but to destroy the contaminated karmas. The contamination. So how to segregate the two? So that is done only by the wisdom of emptiness. Okay. So having said this, now what we learned is that we have to stop the contaminated karmas, particularly the non-vicious karmas. And okay, that is, you ask the Jainism and you ask many of the other classical Indian traditions like Samkhya, Vedanta, Mimamsaka, Vaisheshik, Nyaya, and so forth, they will say the same thing. One time, Tibet House, we invited one scholar to speak on the concept of liberation, concept of nirvana. They don't really call it nirvana, they call it moksha. Concept of moksha according to Nyaya tradition, one of the classical Indian and the Hinduism. Hindu tradition known as Nyaya. In the olden times, there's no Hinduism. It's just the different classical traditions are there, like Nyaya, Mimamsaka, Vaisheshik, Vedanta, Samkhya, Charvaka, and so forth. So there was one Nyaya scholar. I invited him to speak on the liberation concept of moksha
or liberation in your system is very similar to Buddhism. Only difference is how you identify ignorance. So say that it's because of the contaminant karmas, and karmas because of the afflictions, and afflictions because of the finally rooted ignorance. So what this ignorance is just the opposite. So failing to see the absolute self, that is ignorance. In Buddhism, failing to see the emptiness of absolute self, this is ignorance. It's just the difference. So what you identify the ignorance, that is a stark contrast there. Otherwise, once you go beyond this, it's just the same flow. So they all agree upon that all the miseries will be stopped if our contaminated karmas, particularly non-virtuous karmas, will be stopped. They can be stopped. How? Then they give different approaches. So let me share with you 5 approaches. 5 approaches, and then see. Then see, it's not that I am pioneering these concepts. No, these are what I've learned, and then I put them compiled together in the form of a set of 5. So the first one is just, for example, like this. Okay, to make it very clear, the first one is single-pointed meditation. Let's make it very simple. First one is single-pointed meditation. Then I'll explain how they are used to combat the afflictions and the contaminant karmas. The first one, single-pointed meditation. Number 2 is the avoiding the stimulus. Number 2 is the practice to avoid the stimulus. The practice to avoid stimulus. And I'll explain what it is. And then number 3 is the practice of compassion. Number 3 is practice of compassion. Practice of compassion. Number 4 is the practice of the wisdom. Practice of the wisdom of emptiness. The practice of wisdom of emptiness. Number 5, the practice to use afflictions. Practice to use the afflictions as employees. Use the afflictions as employees. Make them work for you. Make the afflictions work for you. Okay, so let me explain each one of them. The first one is single-pointed meditation. So what happens is that somebody says, "You're stupid," and our mind is so weak. It is like the ball of cotton. A ball of cotton, a wind blows, and the ball of cotton is just carried away. It cannot sit there. It's so light. It's easily movable. So our mind is like that. A word can push a mind. A word can make you become crazy. You're stupid, and that's good enough to make you angry. So our mind is so weak for that, because our mind can easily be wavered, easily moved by even a time, just a word. You're stupid, and good enough. And even that is also not required. Let's say you are 29 and 11 months, 29 years and 11 months, and somebody asks you, "How old are you?" And you say, "A guess." And you look like 30. You just go crazy. It's only 1 month that you become 30. And then he said, "I'm 30. Look how weak our mind is. So easily wavered. Easily wavered. So this is where, if we practice single-pointed meditation, at least the words and these things cannot really affect our mind so much. Our mind will become very calm and peaceful, and offensive words come, but you will still remain very calm, stable. You will not be affected. This is because of this single-pointed meditation. In fact, I'm very impressed by one boy. It was many years ago in a retreat, and he said that before he had been doing this Vipassana meditation, Goenkaji's Vipassana meditation for like, I think, how many years? Every day he said he is meditating for 1 hour every day for the last 2 years. And his experience, what he said was that before he joined the course, he used to be extremely restless person, so hyper, restless. With this practice and within the span of 2 years, he became very calm and composed. So that element of restlessness, being hyper, it disappeared. This is amazing, so precious. So therefore, anybody who's doing the Vipassana meditation, of course, it must be done very tactfully, under good guidance, and then what you're doing is doing correctly. It's so precious, very precious. Of course, if you read the Nalanda great masters' books, for example, like Arya Sangha's book, particularly Nyensa, the Shravaka Bhumi, if you read that, I read it once, that you see innumerable techniques to manage our emotions, meditation techniques were taught, innumerable. It's not just one or two. So therefore, it is not that, because we have the very good system, all these things are taught, and no. So whatever somebody is practicing, and it is the effect on the person, this is so precious when you really appreciate it. So this is one part. Then there is the single-pointed meditation. If you learn this will make our mind very calm, stable. This is how it helps our mind to manage the destructive emotions. One. The number two is avoiding the triggers, avoiding the stimulus of the destructive emotions, avoiding the triggers. So there, whatever triggers afflictions within us, attachment, anger, jealousy, and so forth, particularly, for example, let's say that if you're somebody with the bad influence of alcohol, is the alcohol issues there, then try to stay away from such environment, be with people who are more who stay away from alcohol, or somebody who is addicted to the Coca-Cola, Coke, right? Coke, what's wrong with this? But excessive can just kill you so quickly. So stay away from places where the soft drinks, they're not commonly used. And for example, like bad influences. For example, somebody who can easily trigger agitation, anger within you, and the person is used to it, and you go there, go closer to the stimulus. And then it arouses your anger even more. So there, you just stay away from the stimulus, what triggers agitation, anger, and so forth. Try to stay away from these things. Meanwhile, it's a time for you to heal. It's the healing factor for you, time for you to heal. So that will heal you, and then gradually the mind will go closer towards your true nature. True nature, not be reactive. These things will happen. Staying away from the triggers of the destructive emotions is one thing. Then this will really heal you. And then because of the healing taking place, when you do encounter with the stimulus later on, they cannot affect you too much because you're already healed. Before you are healed, say for example, if there's a fracture, and again you hit it just like this, that's good enough to make the fracture even go worse. So therefore, while the fracture is there, stay away from the stimulus or the trigger of the emotions, then the healing takes place. That is very important for us. So therefore, in the Buddhist text, there's a mention of staying away from the stimulus of the afflictions. Then the another method is the compassion. Practice compassion, universal compassion, not just the compassion. Compassion, you already have compassion towards yourself, towards your near and dear ones, and towards your parents and so forth. But universal compassion, the bodhicitta, two methods of bodhicitta. This will it is for us to learn these methods. It's not difficult. To learn these methods is not difficult, but the practicing, that is difficult because people. I would say that in the monastic, the scholars, monastic universities, they learn everything so systematically, and particularly the lay audience who have jobs, household chores. So for them, they learn it, and then they want quick fix, because that, of course, there's a reason for them, because that they don't have time. And it's not about whether you have time or not. It's about your well-being. Whether you want to calm down your destructive emotions, and eventually you want to stop all the tears, painful tears, is about that. So because of this, that we're not to compromise with these practices. So not to just go for quick fixes. Instead, really go for the practices which can actually bring about change. And keep in mind that nobler the goal, more the time taken to reach there. Let's not forget it. Nobler the goal, more the time taking. Which means we should be patient. We should have the patience. They're so important. So practice of compassion, particularly two methods, these two are very, very powerful. And in the context of the people, with the modern education, I would say the second method perhaps is better for you to do with the second method, the method of equalizing and exchanging self for others. And then later on, also get to the first method. First method is equally very powerful, but the second method may be more easily easily what you can practice, particularly for those people who are coming from the modern education. So this will, how does it help to curb the destructive emotions? Is that the emotions, destructive emotions like attachment, anger, jealousy, and so forth, when do they arise? They arise due to the triggers, particularly the triggers which can arouse, let's say, ego, anger, agitation, and so forth. So these triggers can easily be quelled by the practice of the compassion. When your compassion grows, the small things which people unnecessarily, and the triggers to arouse anger within you, these earlier, say before like 5 years ago, 10 years ago, these triggers may be very efficient in triggering anger, agitation within you. And because of which the blood pressure just shoots up. It's very complicated. So whereas with the practice of compassion, gradually you'll see that the triggers earlier, which can easily trigger irritability in you, now they arouse the surface trigger to you anymore. Your anger is not there. For example, like look at the mothers. Mothers where one time I was invited by a couple for a meal. And when I went there, the wall, just you get into the house, and the wall there is just with a very dirty pencil sketch there. And just by seeing this, my mind just, the aversion. So out of, courtesy, so I went there, sat there, and gradually, then after a few minutes, the mother came. Mother so proudly said, Geshe, this is a painting of my children. Well, it's a sense of pride. It doesn't irritate. It's not my place, it's her place. But she doesn't feel irritated. Stranger feels irritated. So why? Because the mother loves the children. Mother loves the children because it's changed the perspective. What triggers irritation in somebody triggers joy in you. So this is how the negative emotions of ego, anger, irritation, they're all curtailed by the practice of compassion. This is so beautiful. This is so beautiful practice. And again, to know how to practice this is not difficult, but to actually feel the experience with the practice will take a long time. But this is the way. This is the way. Without practicing, it'll never ever happen. And then at the end of the day, we have to continue to shed tears. And then the wisdom of emptiness. Number 4, wisdom of emptiness. Wisdom of emptiness is like, say, there are like hundreds of people who are against you, and you feel so suffocated. This person does something, that person does something. You feel so suffocated, and suddenly somebody says, "Hey, you all come," and everybody disappeared. What happens? You feel, Now there's nothing which will provoke me. So this is where, with the experience of wisdom of emptiness, everything otherwise which triggers irritation in the dream, the moment you wake up, all these irritations in the dream, thousands of the beasts is thinking on you. Thousands of beasts thinking on you, and you run for your life. And you wake up, all these beasts will stop. All the triggers of the irritation stops the moment you wake up. This is a part of the wisdom. This is the liberating part. So if you understand in this way, wow, this is amazing. You get just a feel of emptiness. Just a feel of emptiness, and you can feel the relief that how the mind behaves. Just look at it. That you just get a flavor of course, real experience of emptiness. And particularly to this audience, I would say that oftentimes I'm being extremely, overly positive. Overly positive, overly encouraging. And overly encouraging said emptiness is not really difficult. And then what happened? My teacher here, once maybe just watching what I was doing, and I was saying, emptiness is not that difficult. So later, my teacher wrote a book on emptiness, and he sent a copy to me. I said, Dorji, you read it. And then, after a few days, he checked on me. Dorji, what question do you have on the book? And I said, sir, no questions. You have not even read the first page. You have not even read the first page. For the realized beings, it's not necessary. For whom emptiness is very easy, it's not necessary. Okay, so this is for me, not because emptiness is easy, it's because to inspire people. Generally speaking, you'll come across people. If you say, oh, I'm studying emptiness, they will just look at with wide eyes. No, we cannot, with ordinary people cannot answer. It's about the Geshe's, Chenmo's, it's their job. No, we cannot understand. It's a very high level. You will meet with many of these people. You're getting it? So therefore, this is wrong approach. Whether you are Geshe, Chenmo, it doesn't matter. Whether you're layperson, it doesn't matter. We have to stop the painful tears of samsara. Wherever you are, our job is to stop the painful tears of samsara. And how to stop it? This is the only way. And how do we know that? Study it well first. Study it, contemplate on this, and get a flavor of this. Even 1% of the experience, you get it. 1%. I would say that when I was like their age, studying, like these two, when they age studying and sitting, sitting for the 6 years of Geshe exam, and my seniors, there's the senior monks, this amazing place, this so blessed place, where I remember the one senior who was sharing his experience of emptiness with me. He's saying that once you met in emptiness, some very strange physiological feelings manifests within you. He was sharing these experiences. It's very inspiring. So what I'm saying is that for this audience, what I would say is that Lama Tsongkhapa actually indicated that somebody who studies emptiness, who contemplates on emptiness, and who have a faith in this karmic connection with this emptiness concept, and you study this, you're bound to get some experience of the illusory nature of the things. You're bound to get this feeling, but don't feel complacent. This is the advice given by Lama Tsongkhapa. Don't feel complacent. Keep studying more, practicing more, because these experiences for the beginners, you're bound to get these experiences once in a while. If you do this, you get these experiences, all the blessings of the great teachers like Lama Tsongkhapa, and then the Arya Nagarjuna, Acharya Chandrakrit, and so forth. These are the blessings of these teachers. This is like the lighthouse. Lighthouse, you get the light. And this light is not your light, it's from the outside. Once in a while, you may get a glimpse of emptiness, some very strange feelings where you just feel like crying and very peaceful feeling, goosebumps coming in the body. These things can happen, but don't feel complacent. With the modern education, one drawback of the modern education with respect to these profound concepts is that there's a tendency that once you get a glimpse, and then you feel that, oh, I understand emptiness. So this is where you are doing the greatest of the disservice to yourself. Let me repeat it. Where you think that you've realized emptiness at such an early age, you are doing such a great disservice to yourself. Why? You are creating a dead end. Once you said that, I understood emptiness, you will not study more. You will not contemplate more. You think that you got it. You will not If you don't go beyond, if you don't study more, there are various landscapes of emptiness, shades of emptiness you are bound to experience with age. I remember His Holiness the Dalai Lama, I think it was in 2013, when His Holiness was, I think, in his 70s, that they say, in the form of the message to encourage us. And of course, His Holiness, the realization is no doubt very clear, and from not from the point of view of the blind faith, but from what the text says and what His Holiness demonstrates, we see that these two are just exactly tallying. From there, we can say that extremely high-level realization. But His Holiness, I remember 2013 when we requested His Holiness for a public teaching. His Holiness in Delhi, in Burjani Park, His Holiness said that now all these last 60 years I put effort in emptiness, and it along with the bodhicitta, this is the favorite thing for His Holiness to do. And since early age, in his the teenager age, His Holiness put effort in this emptiness, and now His Holiness said that now I got a feeling that if I put little effort, then I can see things like illusion. So this is what His Holiness said, but I would say that it's purely his humility. Otherwise, for him, it's already since years ago, all his teachings just tally with the textual explanations, and His Holiness's experiences shared. They're all just tallying. But for us, the one to inspire us that if we put effort, then we will also get these experiences which His Holiness is sharing with us. And number two, expression of humility, not to say that, yes, I realize emptiness directly, right? So if His Holiness says like this, then many people will easily emulate, and these may be more harmful to the people in ways that, particularly the modern educated people, this is quite a tendency to say that you get some kind of glimpse and you think that you got it. Because in the modern education system, 2 + 3 = 5, full stop. You don't meditate on this. 2 + 3 = 5. Okay, now I have to meditate on 2 + 3 = 5, 2 + 3 = 5. We never do that. This is not the tendency of the modern. You got it, you got it. Equals MC square. If you ask Albert Einstein, how is MC square, he will show you, he will derive it. He will not show you like direct experience. No, even he has to think sequentially. All the derivations he has to think. But for the wisdom of emptiness, it is through systematic, the understanding, then contemplation, then the experience, and even the experience, you study more, contemplate more, experience, meditate, study more, contemplate, meditate, and then the experience like the scaffolding. The higher the scaffolding, the base should be broader. More studies, more contemplation, then experience go deeper, 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 as the great teachers always encourages us. And then finally, how to manage emotions by making the destructive emotions, so afflictions, as your servant, employing them, servant, that your bodhicitta and your wisdom emptiness, they become so powerful that the afflictions, they become your servant. Instead of them dominating you, you dominate on them, and you use them to for the welfare of the sentient beings. That is a very, very. This is the the final, the most powerful way to manage the emotions. Not only the emotions, they're under control, but you control them. You use them, utilize them for the well-being of the sentient beings. So these are the 5 ways, and all these are taught in the great Nalanda tradition. So therefore, His Holiness, since years ago, He always says that this Nalanda tradition that we have inherited, this is a very complete form of Buddhism. Okay, we stop here with the end dedication prayer. Page 50, page 55. Page 55, ended in prayer. So always let us, every time they finish the class at the end of the day, let us dedicate the prayers that we are in such a holy place where all the great monastic practitioners, the scholar practitioners, they realize emptiness, they generate bodhicitta, and that too in numerous, the huge numbers. And His Holiness is here to bless all of us, all the sentient beings in the world. And my teacher, Venerable Geshe, and many other teachers are all here. And there's a constant flow of the blessings of the intellectuals, the scholastic, the ordained, the practitioners. So whatever merit that we gathered through these teachings of the Lama Tsongkhapa's 3rd volume on the Insight chapter, let us dedicate that His Holiness the Dalai Lama, the true source of joy and happiness on this earth, that His Holiness live for eternally with utter extreme good health, and that His Holiness wishes be fulfilled spontaneously. And particularly the project on the universal ethics for the welfare of the whole world. Let this be now today, having taken the form of what is known as sea learning under the championship or stewardship of the Emory University, which is like the mission carrier of His Holiness the Dalai's vision of the universal ethics, now taking the form of the sea learning, that this program flourish in everywhere in the world, and eventually let us pray that UNO one day adopts this program to be implemented in all the countries, in all the institutions, colleges, universities, for them, and that the future leaders are coming out of these programs, that they happen to embrace each other, give hands to each other, rather than the combating, fighting each other. So with this mind, and let's also pray that all beings who are suffering for whatever reasons, wars, famine, and the domestic violence and so forth, that all of them get a fresh breath of air of the peace, happiness, and that they all get the opportunity to encounter with the teaching on the bodhicitta and the wisdom of emptiness, the only liberating factor to stop all the tears of painful samsara and to attain full Buddha for the benefit of sentient beings. May the teaching on the bodhicitta and the teaching on the wisdom of emptiness thrive at the universe, in every nook and corner of the universe. With this mind, and also let me personally dedicate the merits that each one of you, this being a very special place, a special time, with His Holiness's presence here, and my teacher here, and this is something which happens once in a blue moon. So with this, let me personally dedicate the merits that each one of you, through your own concerted effort, be able to practice these two bodhicittas, ultimate bodhicitta and the conventional bodhicitta, ultimate bodhicitta in the form of the non-dual wisdom of the Arya Bodhisattvas, and the conventional bodhicitta, the aspiration to become Buddha for the benefit of sentient beings, that you'll be able to practice these two. And today, in these 10 days, you'll be able to plant extremely precious and most precious, valuable, a seed of awakening within yourself, so that whenever in the future, near future, just like next life, whenever the moment it comes to meet with the proper water, the germinating water, it germinates in the full form of the enlightenment, and then where all your tears, painful tears of samsara stops for you, and then you'll be able to set an example of how to awaken the Buddha nature for all the demon sentient beings. So with this mind, let's turn to page 55. In the land encircled by snow mountains, you are the source of all happiness and good. All powerful champions say Tenzin Gyatso, please remain until samsara ends. Just as a brave Manjushri and Samadribhata too realize things as they are, also I dedicate all these merits in their best way, that I may follow their perfect example. I dedicate all these rules of virtue with dedication praised as the best by all the Buddhas who appeared in 3 times, so that I might perform the noble Buddhas of these deeds. I dedicate the merit thus gathered towards the realization of the deeds in the prayers of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of 3 times, and to the upholding of the doctrine, scripture, and insight. May in all lives, through the force of this merit, never separate from the 4 wheels of the Mahayana vehicle, and accomplish all the stages of the path, renunciation, bodhicitta, the purview, and the 2 stages. Having dispelled all out and inner, such as poverty, despair, oppression, cruelty, epidemics, natural disasters, due to environmental degradation, may all beings forever enjoy the glory of peace and happiness. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind of full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. May I spend day and night carefully reflecting by what means can enhance his teaching, achieved by the Supreme Savior through strenuous efforts over countless eons. From my true collections, vast space that I've amassed from working with effort, this practice for a great length of time, may I become the chief leading Buddha for all those whose. Okay, praise to Buddha Shakyamuni one time. Tavge tuje shaye reso chon shenge meto dege bonjomba serge lumbo tabo jebeko chaye yebo kyala chaselo mone mahamona yeswa 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 mone mahamona yeswa. Okay, 3 precisions together.